A MAGA civil war has erupted between Elon Musk and those who support Donald Trump, and it's getting worse with each passing hour. Elon Musk has been relentless today. He has come out swinging against the big, beautiful budget bill that Donald Trump and House and Senate Republican leaders have been working on for a long time, calling it a, quote, disgusting abomination, saying that it would balloon the federal deficit by more than $2.5 trillion, saying, quote, shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. And when Republicans pushed back against Elon, he went after them even harder, saying that Republicans who voted for this legislation, who essentially sold out the Republican Party, should be fired in 2026. He is now calling for the defeat of members of Congress on his own side. And it looks like it's only going to get worse. Now, Donald Trump has not responded publicly yet, but we could very well see a Truth Social post attacking Elon Musk from the President of the United States this evening. So we'll see. It was a very crazy, very busy news day. So if you want to support my work, please consider subscribing to my Substack by clicking the button below or sending a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. They're attacking me relentlessly, but I could only continue doing this with your support. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson accused Elon Musk of opposing the tax and spending bill out of his own self-interest, saying that Musk is simply upset over the removal of certain electric vehicle subsidies that would impact Tesla. Meanwhile, in the United States Senate Majority Leader John Thune acknowledged that Musk's past work with Doge was good, but noted, quote, on this particular issue, we have a difference of opinion. And speaking about this big, beautiful budget bill, another Republican literally came out today and admitted that she had not read the bill, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She spoke specifically about a provision that would ban AI regulation in all 50 states for a period of 10 years, saying that that provision is blatantly unconstitutional and that she did not know it was in the bill. Had she known, she would have voted against the bill. And if it remains in the bill after the United States Senate guts it, then she will be a no vote when it gets back to the House of Representatives. So right now, there is complete chaos on Capitol Hill. There is complete chaos within the Republican Party, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be let up anytime soon. Hakeem Jeffries, the House Democratic leader, meanwhile, is vowing to expose the identities of ICE agents who violate the law, declaring that, quote, this is not the Soviet Union. Every single one of them will, of course, be identified. He emphasized that such disclosure is lawful, stating that it would happen, quote, no matter how long it takes, no matter what it takes, and no matter how long it takes. Meanwhile, according to CBS News, the U.S. Navy under Pete Hegseth is considering renaming several ships currently named after civil rights figures and prominent American voices, including Harvey Milk, who was a slain gay rights leader, a Navy veteran, a historic figure in American history. And they're trying to rename one of the ships, the USNS Harvey Milk, during Pride Month. And it's
in the political sphere, the fighting between Elon Musk and Donald Trump could potentially open doors for other political figures or movements to gain traction. Yes.
Things are only getting worse with the Elon Musk-Donald Trump breakup. Elon Musk is now saying if Donald Trump cuts his funding, that immediately SpaceX will retire Crew Dragon, which will mean that there'll be no U.S.-based way to get to and from the International Space Station. We have Steve Bannon now calling for a full investigation into Elon Musk's immigration status and his paperwork, saying it could have been forged and he might have been here undocumented. And if he is, he should be deported. In response to that, Elon Musk says that Donald Trump needs to be impeached and J.D. Vance needs to take his place. Things are only getting worse. And it's okay. Get your popcorn ready because it's going to continue. And as in the MAGA sphere, what's going on there, it's giving very much, hey, parents don't fight kind of things. Like our two dads are fighting and let's not make it, visible to the world. They're all saying, Donald, quit fighting with Elon. Essentially, MAGA's turning on Donald Trump, though, outside of his major advisors like Steve Bannon, because they all support Elon more than they support Donald Trump, which is a weird turn of events. So when Elon's talking about making a third party, I'm all for it because let's split that Republican vote. It's always nasty when your two dads break up, and MAGA's learning that right now, that any parental breakup between narcissists is always going to be messy. And that's exactly what's happening in MAGAverse right now. They let Elon Musk come in. They let him help them win their elections. And now the people he bought aren't playing ball with him, and he's going to take his ball and go home and spill all the tea on his way out the door.
Oh man, on X, Elon Musk's brother just posted this incredible takedown on Donald Trump and Trump's tariff policy. And as a reporter said, this is 100% being done with Elon Musk's direction. And Axios is reporting that Donald Trump is not sitting well with Republicans. They are very upset about this tariff stuff. They say Republicans admit President Trump's tariffs are spiking their blood pressure. Their Wall Street donors are feeling it too, with some giving top GOP lawmakers an earful this weekend. So the richest people in the world, or in the country, are now in the ears of the Republicans saying, what the hell are you going to do about Donald Trump? So let's follow that and why this matters, because Trump is making it clear he won't tolerate any limits on his ability to impose tariffs. And he rattled GOP donors who wanted lawmakers to help convince the president that tariffs are crushing the economy. Well, this is what happens when you elect a mad king, because everyone who voted for Kamala Harris knew what the deal was. She said we would be in a recession by the middle of the year next year, which she said in November, when we're here now. And that is exactly what JP Morgan is now predicting, that we're going to head towards a recession if Donald Trump keeps up his tariffs. Real quick, if you're liking this video, please hit like on the video. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. It really does help boost this video further into the algorithm. I sometimes have asked, have not asked, and whenever I ask, I'm going to tell you, it makes a big difference. So liking the video is like one way you can help get this pro-democracy message out to more people. Thank you so much. On this meme that basically shows how everything is chaotic because of the market, it says this is basically every day now. And Elon Musk just goes, yeah. And then a prominent poster on X goes, Elon is going to end up a massive lib by the end of this. And I don't know, we've seen crazier things happen. And there's so many great memes. I remember when the S&P 500 was at 6,000. Sure, Grandma, let's get you to the assembly line at the shoe factory because they want to bring back all these terrible manufacturing jobs.
Breaking news. You need to watch this. When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them. So it's to teach us in the woke world to open up and accept the possibilities that our privilege has created blind spots for us. And we need to exhale and breathe in and allow an expansion of our experience and our minds to be able to say, maybe I haven't seen what is really happening yet in all my years.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, Africans. I hope you're faring well where you are. And if you ain't faring well, please fare well where you are. So have you heard of the proverb, 2 dogs fighting for a bone and the third dog runs away with it? Yeah, 2 dogs are fighting for a bone and the third dog runs with it. So who is this third dog is a question you should be asking yourself. So this proverb means that when 2 parties are intensely focused on a conflict, they might miss an opportunity for a third party to gain an advantage, you know?
The difference between a Democrat and a Republican, as Ralph Nader said, is the speed at which their knee hits the floor when a donor walks in the room.
Oh, yeah.
And so it doesn't matter who's president. Barack Obama was not a departure from George Bush. He was a continuation of George Bush. He took us from 2 wars to 7 wars. He kicked 5.1 million families out of their homes while he made sure the bankers didn't miss their bonuses. He deported twice as many Hispanics as Donald Trump. He built those cages that put those people in. He dropped 26,000 bombs in the Air Force ran out of bombs. That's a fact. They ran out of bombs. He dropped so many bombs. He did a drone program that killed 90% innocent people. You know, if somebody walks into a mall and shoots 15 people down with this gun, that's the biggest thing. Oh my God. Barack Obama was doing that on a daily basis, killing women and children with his drone war. And he got a Nobel Peace Prize. He got a Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't even do anything. That's how. And so it's a uniparty. And so when Trump got in office and he mentioned that there's a deep state, they're like, you can't say that. What are you doing? And when he said, hey, when they asked him, why are you leaving your troops in Syria? And he said, for the oil. They're like, you can't. He goes, no, it's for the oil. No, it's for liberty. It's for helping the people. No, it's for the oil. It's our oil. And so he let the cat out of the bag, and they can't have that. That's what he blew the whistle on what's actually going on. Our wars are for oil. Our wars are economic wars, just like what's happening in Ukraine. This is an economic war. We're trying to put a hurt and isolate Russia. We're afraid of Russia and their natural resources and their manpower coming together with Germany with their technology and their capital. And we've been saying that for decades. And so that's why we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. And that's why this Ukraine war is happening. And people have no idea what's happening. And what's worse is they have no idea that they have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, that's MAGA. Make America great again. They have a point. America is not doing so great right now. Right? Our kids' math scores are down. Our children's science scores are down. When judged according to international metrics, healthcare systems not doing so great. Wealth gap disparities increasing exponentially. There was an implied promise to a generation of Americans that if you do certain things, work hard, go to college, be a good person, you would have certain outcomes. And those outcomes didn't materialize for majority of people because baby boomers entrenched in decision-making positions lowered the capital gains tax so that the net worth essentially compounds year after year. And post-World War II, U.S. leadership traded the domestic manufacturing industry for national security by making the U.S. dollar the default international trade currency, which gave America the ability to impose economic sanctions on foreign countries through a U.S. financial banking system, but consequently increased the value of the U.S. dollar astronomically, which made it impossible for anyone to manufacture anything in America. Although the logic at the time was that Americans were supposed to upskill en masse away from the menial manufacturing jobs, but everyone here's too much of a dumbass to stay in school, so we just traded domestic manufacturing to Asia and the rest of the world at the expense of working class families. But if you don't read enough, it comes out as, let's go, Brandon! And it's like, you have a point, but you don't have the vocabulary to describe your reality because you didn't read enough. You gotta keep reading. Beyond the hashtag, there's a book behind the word. You gotta keep going. You can go at your own pace, but you gotta finish the required reading, otherwise we can't have a conversation. It's just, we're all catching up to each other. I'm friends with MAGA. I'm friends with the MAGA. Some of them are my good friends. Yeah. Hawaii MAGA. The friendliest of all MAGA.
MAGA means make America great again. That's what MAGA means. So, for the first time, I never said it to anybody. I never really thought about it that much. But all of a sudden, it was down to like maybe 10 or 8 or 9 days, a few days ago, right? I said, you know, in 10 days, this will never happen again because I'm not running again and you're going to lose interest. We're going to meet, but we're going to meet on a different basis. We're going to meet on the basis of fixing our country, and we'll meet, but it'll be different than having rallies and having, you know, things where you have elections and all. It's never going to be what we've done together. We got to win, first of all, but we are leading. Just keep the cheating down. The only thing can stop us is the cheating. It's the only thing that can stop us. If we win, it's the biggest event in political history. It's the biggest event in political history. And there's something, and it's going to be the most important. I believe that the next election is the most important election in the history of the country. I really believe that. The one that's coming up in 4 days. But I said to myself, it's sad. I told the people. Some people were in the road, they're crying.
Just the same way you judged by the title, there is a conflict between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And these people were once divided, you know. They were divided under the umbrella of MAGA. MAGA means make America great again, you know. Also, a house divided against itself cannot stand. And the message here is, while often applied to a more unified entity, this proverb especially could be used to metaphorically mean that if one views the MAGA regime or the broader conservative movement as a house, if two prominent figures associated with it are at odds, it could weaken its overall coherence and stability. And that's the second proverb. You know, I like using proverbs to make my messages reach home. And the thing which is happening here right now is MAGA is crashing, and the MAGA people themselves, you know, they are very adamant, they are very vocal. I love how they stand for themselves, but now the house is collapsing. The house is collapsing because I believe that Elon Musk and Donald Trump were once really good friends.
Interesting point about the MAGA movement, right?
And I think, and I think something needs to be done. You know, we had the Republicans who are really, we had the conservatives. You know, no, the Democrats. The Democrats are people who are against the Republicans in a political sphere, right? So there is a bold movement happening, and let's ask ChatGPT what he thinks about this situation. Let's listen to what ChatGPT has to say about the situation happening between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Hello, Gemini, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm fine. So I want to ask you a question about, tell us something, give us a brief analysis of what is happening between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and why we can foresee a falling of the MAGA empire.
The feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump is definitely heating up. It seems to stem from Musk's growing influence in politics and Trump's accusations that Musk's companies benefit unfairly from government subsidies. The feud has gotten pretty intense, with both sides trading insults and accusations. Some political analysts think this could weaken the MAGA movement, but it's still too early to say for sure. Do you want to hear more about the specifics of their disagreements?
Yes, please.
Okay, here's a quick rundown of the situation. Elon Musk and Donald Trump have had a pretty public falling out. It seems to stem from Musk's growing influence in politics and Trump's accusations that Musk's companies benefit unfairly from government subsidies. The feud has gotten pretty intense, with both sides trading insults and accusations. Some political analysts think this could weaken the MAGA movement, but it's still too early to say for sure. Would you like me to find some recent articles about this?
Please, yes.
Okay, I've got some recent articles here. It looks like the feud is escalating, with both Musk and Trump trading insults and accusations. Musk even claimed that Trump appears in the Epstein files, and Trump has threatened to cut Musk's government contracts. Do you want to hear more about the specifics of their disagreements?
No, thank you. I think I've had enough. Yes, now Americans are reacting. We've had Gemini himself or herself or itself explain to us what's really happening, you know. You know, when two dogs are fighting or when two elephants are fighting, the person who really hurts the most is the grass. So let's listen to what the Africans, the African Americans, the white Americans, the Hispanics, the Latinas, everyone in the United States, what they think of the situation and what's really happening over there. Let's dive in. I shall get back by the end of the video, where we shall also have a deeper critical analysis. Let's dive in.
Well, the MAGA base is waking up and they are not happy. At a recent town hall, Republican Congresswoman Ashley Hinson made the mistake of saying the quiet part out loud, and House Republicans are getting clobbered. Let's take a look at this first clip.
I was also proud to vote for President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill last week. This is a generational investment. This is a general investment. This is your time. Okay.
This is a crowd of Republicans. This is a crowd of Trump voters. These are Ashley Hinson's own constituents, and they are booing her. And when she tries explaining to them, hey, Trump's fighting for you. The crowd says, no, no, he's not. Take a look.
The election, I think Americans overwhelmingly rejected the status quo for the country. We were seeing an open border, high inflation. We were seeing hardworking men and women in Iowa and our country feel like their voices were not heard. Families in Iowa have told me for the last 4 years that we want to make sure we have safe streets, we have affordable groceries and gas, and that kids have opportunity to be able to live out the American dream. And that is what President Trump is delivering for us. And the president is, I believe, fighting for you and fighting for me. I'm fighting alongside of him. And I think God saved President Trump's life in Butler. I think he saved his life in Butler, Pennsylvania for a reason. I think that he is helping us to save and redirect the future of our country. He is helping deport criminal illegal aliens rather than letting them roam our streets freely. He is ending the abuses of taxpayer dollars rather than treating your money like monopoly money. And he's unleashing America.
This is not a blue district. This is not a protest. These are Republican voters, and they're sending a message, which is they're not buying Trump's sale.
Elon Musk goes to war with Trump and MAGA. He really took the gloves off seemingly overnight. He's going after the big, beautiful bill, and he's going after it aggressively. I'll break that down for you. You're not going to be surprised to learn he may have an ulterior motive. Shocker, I know. All right, so we'll talk about that. We also have Trump Jr. squirms over his dad's corruption. He was questioned about it on CNBC, and he doesn't handle it well. Then we'll get to Elon Musk is letting it all hang out. As you all know, him and Trump and their relationship, it's been on the rocks a little bit recently, dog. It's been on the rocks a little bit. So you had Elon take some shots at Trump with his big, beautiful bill. He also said, there's a lot of things that the regime does that I don't necessarily agree with. I agree with a lot of it, but I don't agree with all of it. And I don't want to be blamed for the things I don't agree with. And then literally the next day after he made those comments, boom, fired.
Donald Trump is canceling all of Elon Musk's government contracts, and in response, Elon Musk accused Donald Trump of being a sex offender. So what's going on here is Elon and Trump are fighting. Elon came out against Trump's big signature bill that's going to add $3 trillion to the deficit. That's why Elon didn't like it, but it's also going to cut taxes for the rich. Trump came out and said he was disappointed in Elon. Trump was then asked about it and said, well, Elon didn't win me the election anyway. I would have won Pennsylvania anyway. Elon then responded earlier today and said, Trump wouldn't even be president if it wasn't for me. Trump hates that. So Trump responded, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised Biden didn't do it. Trump also says Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. In other words, he kicked Elon out of the White House. I took away his electric vehicle mandate that forced everyone to buy electric vehicles that nobody wanted to buy. So Elon responds, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald Trump. Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out.
The alliance between the world's richest man and the world's most powerful, Donald Trump, is imploding right now in real time before our very eyes. After days of Musk trashing Donald Trump's signature domestic policy, his big ugly bill, as Elon Musk called it, Trump finally broke his silence. Watch.
Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next.
Musk, who's now a former special government employee, is doing just that. He is lashing out, reminding his 220 million followers on the platform he owns, X, of his potentially decisive $277 million political gift to Donald Trump. He writes this, quote, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House and Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. It went on and on and on. Trump even threatened to cancel Musk's billions of dollars worth of contracts, to which Musk fired back, accusing Donald Trump of, wait for it, covering up his role in the Epstein files. Yes, Elon Musk went there. As sordid as this all is, and it gets worse, why does any of this matter when the most powerful person in our government fights with the richest person in the world? We as a public, get to peer deep inside the most corrupt and superficial alliance in American political history. And as they claw and strike rhetorically at one another, they affirm our deepest concerns and suspicions. Trump confirms that Musk was always only in it to enrich his companies, and Musk confirms that Trump was always for sale.
So I've seen a lot of people online say they think the fallout between Elon Musk and Donald Trump is just a distraction, but the question is, what are they trying to distract us from? Well, I'll tell you what, Donald Trump doesn't want you to know right now that Doge has a new leader. Elon Musk might be leaving Doge, but Doge isn't going anywhere. Trump doesn't want you to know that Doge's new boss is named Russell Vought, a self-described Christian nationalist and member of the Heritage Foundation. Remember how Donald Trump tried to distance himself from Project 2025? He pretended he didn't even know what it was. Well, now one of the chief architects of Project 2025 is going to be in charge of Doge, making sure that Project 2025 is the playbook when it comes to cutting cancer research funding, slashing funding for FEMA, slashing funding for Medicaid and food stamps. Don't forget Head Start for children or school lunches, but there will be plenty of money for private charter schools. There will be plenty of money for ICE raids. There will be plenty of money so the No New Wars president can continue expanding our bloated military budget. So much for No New Wars, America first. Elon Musk was right. Doge has only just begun, and it might get even worse before it finally ends.
Now, the ongoing conflict between Donald Trump and Elon Musk has become a significant political spectacle today. It's revealing deep fissures and potential vulnerabilities within the broader conservative and the MAGA movement. What started as a seemingly aligned, if occasionally tense, partnership has rapidly devolved into a bitter exchange of personal attacks and threats, with potential far-reaching consequences. Now, what's the genesis? What's the origin of this conflict we are having between these two best friends? Now, the immediate trigger for the dramatic fallout appears to be Musk's vocal opposition to a major spending bill championed by Donald Trump. Elon Musk has publicly denounced the legislation as a disgusting abomination and a debt bomb, arguing it will exacerbate the national deficit and undermine efforts towards government efficiency, which he was once tasked to help oversee. This criticism by Elon Musk directly challenges a cornerstone of Trump's legislative agenda. Beyond this policy disagreement, several underlying tensions have also contributed to this breakdown. The first one is the economic philosophy between these two. While both are broadly seen as pro-business people, their specific economic priorities differ. For Trump, America is first. Nationalism often leans towards protectionism and domestic manufacturing, sometimes at the expense of global supply chains. For Elon Musk, a global tech mogul, he prioritizes innovation, attracting global talent, and advancing technology like electric cars, his Tesla cars, and space exploration, which often rely on government support or international collaboration. Donald Trump has threatened to cut government subsidies and contracts vital to Elon Musk's companies like Tesla and SpaceX, accusing Elon Musk of being reliant on federal backing. Now, the first one was economic philosophy. The second one is ideological alignment and personal loyalty. Elon Musk's alignment with Trump on issues like free speech on X, formerly Twitter, is perceived as anti-woke stances, which has fostered an alliance. However, Elon Musk appears to have a more libertarian, less purely nationalist ideology. For Donald Trump, conversely, demands fears personal loyalty from his allies. When Elon Musk policy criticisms became direct and public, Donald Trump's response was swift and personal, escalating the conflict. The third one is ego and the power dynamics. Nobody wants their ego to be hurt, and if you hurt the ego, you have to pay the consequences. Both men are known for their outsized personalities and perceived self-importance. They each view themselves as central figures shaping the future of America and beyond. A collision cause which was perhaps inevitable when their ambitions and methods diverged. Trump believes Elon Musk would have achieved his political influence without his support, while Musk has already countered, by claiming Trump wouldn't have won the 2024 election without his own backing. People are saying, you needed me to become the president. I needed you to support my company. Now the two are falling out, So what are these escalations and allegations? The feud between these two has played out dramatically on social media, reflecting the confrontational styles of both individuals. Recent escalations include Trump's threats. First of all, Trump threatened Elon Musk. Trump has publicly threatened to cut government contracts for Musk's companies, especially mentioning SpaceX reliance on NASA contracts, and suggested that Musk's business would be worthless without federal backing. Musk, of course, countered. Now we have Musk counter-attacks. Musk has responded with strong personal attacks, including bombshell and unsustained claim that Trump is mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein files, suggesting that this is the real reason those files haven't been fully released. He has also expressed support for calls to impeach Trump and has warned Republican lawmakers that he will be around for 40 plus years, while Trump only has 3.5 years left as a president. Wow, it's going deep, Now, foreshadowing the fall of MAGA as an empire, because the MAGA people are also fighting one another. The term "the fall for the MAGA empire" might be strong as the movement has shown remarkable resilience and a deeply committed base. However, this conflict, among other factors, highlights significant internal strains that could contribute to its weakening or transformation. First one is internal divisions and ideology purity test. The Trump-Musk feud opposes a growing rift within the broader conservative movement. It pits elements of economic nationalism and protectionism against a more techno-libertarian globalist outlook. This can force factions within the MAGA base to choose sides, potentially fracturing unity. Headline Donald Trump allies have already begun to accuse Musk of being a globalist Trojan horse. The weakening of the big tent. The MAGA is a big tent in this case. The MAGA movement has at times drawn in diverse figures and groups under Trump's charismatic leadership. Public feuds with high-profile individuals like Musk demonstrate that this big tent has limits. Losing key allies or donors or creating internal dissent can dilute the movement's collective power and influence. Distraction and eroding focus. The energy spent on the internal bickering and personal attacks can divert attention and resources from core policy objective and electoral campaigns. For a movement that thrives on perceived strength and unity against external enemies, internal strife can be particularly damaging. Now, there's so much about this, the succession and the future leadership, perception of instability. Too much is here for each and every individual to lose, both Musk and Elon Trump. So now to conclude, we have that the Trump-Musk conflict is more than just a clash of the titans. It's a symptom of deeper ideological tension and power struggles within the American right. While the MAGA movement devoted base remains strong, these internal fissures, especially when made so spectacularly public, could indeed contribute to a fragmentation or weakening of its cohesive power, potentially signaling a significant shift in its future trajectory. That was deep, and that was a deeper or an understanding of what's happening, the conflict between these two billionaires in USD. These people are filthy rich. And you know, when two elephants fight, who hurts the most? It's the grass. We people who are not so, we people who are, you know, poor, or let me say, we are not rich, we suffer a lot. Yeah. I hope you got value from what I did, and if you did get value, kindly subscribe. I'll surely appreciate for your support, and see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.